Good morning, Dojo Nation. Let's try this again once with sound. How about that? Yesterday I was in a hurry. I didn't check the video, and this is what it went out without sound. My apologies. So the first thing we got to do is big announcement. Drum roll, please. I got my new fancy cup. How about that? Big smiley face on there. Start the day out looking at you. It's even two-sided, so I'm going to have a good day no matter what happens. Listen, I turned 65. Well, it was a couple weeks back, and I'm doing some reflecting on that benchmark in my life. And one of the things that I'm finding out is how important it is to be you. What do they say? You do you. I think in our industry, we have a tendency to have other people tell us what our definition of success should be. I have one of my guys, one of my black belts, Jeff Cork, who has, for my money, he's one of the best operators in the country. He has a very, 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 very successful school in a small town in Wisconsin. He's opening multiple locations. I don't think he should. I try to tell him every day I don't think he should. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to be great at it. But I'm encouraging him to look at the one school model with a big enrollment, kind of like Randy Holman does out on the West Coast. He has over 1,000 students in one school. So it's me trying to impose my standards, thoughts on Jeff Quirk. It's not right. I just do it because I'm an old guy, and old guys yell at young guys. That's what we do. It's our job. But I think throughout our industry, that's very pervasive. I find this almost across the board. Someone has a successful school, and they are a consultant, and then therefore you have to run your school exactly like they run theirs. They don't want you to vary from their program. That's understandable. They're successful. If they want you to be successful, that's the model they know. But there's a lot of ways to be successful, and they're not all monetary. The meter of happiness doesn't really ride so much once your basic needs are taken care of. So I was going through this in my mind. Not everybody is cut out to run a huge program, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to run a big program, and that's okay. Let's look at some numbers just for the heck of it. And once again, I'm not saying multi-schools are bad. I'm not saying big schools are bad. I just don't want people who don't want to run that model to feel like they're less of a martial artist or less valued, or that you're going to be unhappy if you don't have 20 schools. What if a school only had 100 students? I ran some numbers here, and the student was worth $150 a month. And that's $180 a year, $180,000, not a lot, but a good, decent chunk of money. At that rate, you should be able to net 55% of it. So you're going to net $100,000. Well, how much is $100,000? That's the question nobody's asking these days. If you have $100,000, the national medium household incomes, I think, what did I write down? I just checked it, $57,000. So you're $43,000 ahead of everybody else at that point. Now, here's the kicker. If you go to Flint, Michigan, the median household income is $25,000. You'll have 4 times the money the average household does in Flint, if you want to live in Flint. Now, if you go to San Ramon, California, the average household income is $151,000. I don't know if you could even make middle class on that. You'd be under by $50,000. So what does that say? We need to look at 2 factors when we're looking at our income, and then maybe it's easier to set some of these goals. What is the median household income where you live? On a side note, can where you live sustain a martial arts school? Rolls Royces are really nice cars. They're $400,000 or $500,000. You can't sell them in Dubuque, Iowa. You can't sell them for half price in Dubuque, Iowa. Nobody's going to buy your damn Rolls Royce there. They're going to buy your Kia. It's a low-income town. Same thing in Flint. They probably don't have many Rolls Royce dealerships in Flint, Michigan. So when we're looking at business, if you're going to buy a franchise, one of the first things they're going to tell you is that we're going to work with you and we're going to approve your site location. We're always hearing people go, I live in a town of 3,000 and nobody makes any money. Well, maybe it wasn't the right location for you. So let's say you're in the right location. Let's say you can make your $100,000 a year. On $100,000 a year, if you have basic management skills of your money, you can retire rich. You can live a great life. That's not a bad thing. You can be happy. You can basically work part-time if you have 100 students. It's not a hard job. If you can't get 100 students, then maybe you need to be running a club type operation and don't do a full-blown pro program. I know guys that have been teaching for years, decades, and they haven't hit 100 students. You know, there's something here that you need to take a look at. So now, if you do have that skill, I look at a guy like John Cassidy out in Washington, D.C. I think he would be very successful if he managed a chain of anything. He's got 3-4 schools. I think he would be successful managing any kind of chain. He's an organized guy. He's a good leader. He's disciplined. He does that sort of thing. And sometimes some of us martial artists, I won't name any, but I might resemble a couple. Sometimes we just don't want to discipline ourselves to be that kind of guy and develop the skill sets for management of a multi-million dollar company. And that's exactly what some of these people do. So the point of today is, man, if you're one of the people that is a owner operator and you're happy and you're improving people's lives, pat yourself on the back, man. I know, having been in this business for 40 years, the dramatic improvements we can have in people's lives. We get paid more than money. I say it all the time. So don't feel a need to risk your happipiness to try to fulfill somebody else's vision of what you should do. That being said, I think Jeff Quirk should just have one big school. There you go, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the day, gang. I hope this one has sound.